All right, folks, so in light of the recent thunderstorm casualties, not my words really, the most recent where a lightning bolt struck players during a Manning Cup football match on Monday. It was Jamaica College up against Wolmer's. We've invited the head of the weather branch at the Met Centre of Jamaica, Rowan Brown, and Vice President of the Intersecondary School Sports Association, and also Principal herself, Colleen Montague, to talk about safety precautions and policy that governs the well, not only the ISA games, but I suspect we were talking about ISA, but I suspect really just governing sport in weather like this overall. Good morning to you both. Welcome.
Good morning.
I just actually spoke with Nika Shea Murray, one of the youngsters. He's at home and he's good. I understand that Terence Francis, the other Jamaica College student, is still in hospital, and I'm told that he should be released today. So I just spoke with Nika Shea, and he seems to be all right. Good morning again, Mrs. Montague. Is there an official policy regarding something like this in schoolboy football?
The FIFA regulations indicate under extreme weather and lightning, games should cease or it should be monitored and ensure that the safety is protected every time of players and spectators, officials.
Yeah.
So there is a FIFA regulation that guides us as a local body governing this competition, that we take the necessary precaution wherever games are held in extreme weather.
Yeah. Referee Carl Tyrrell was in charge of the game, and I'm doing a little commentary here. We were at St. George's College when it happened. We had finished training, and you could see lightning in the distance. It wasn't very close to us, so we didn't think there was anything, because we spoke about it on the air the week before, and we were suggesting that if it happens to me, and when I see lightning, I'll take the kids off. And then there was just this big strike. There was just this one big strike. So the first thing, I think the referee did the right thing. But it wasn't like it was lightning, and people were saying what was going on. Let me ask you before Delia, sir. Can you tell us if there's a football game going on today? Would you be able to say, well, there's going to be a thunderstorm or possibility of lightning? Can you tell us that?
Yes, we can. We make the forecast, and what we talk about is the thunderstorm. So whenever there is a forecast for a thunderstorm, there's a possibility of three things happening: heavy showers, lightning, and thunder. And just to add, simply put, what occurred is that when you have the clouds growing to a great vertical extent, you have the particles moving within the clouds. And when they move within the clouds, you have a positive charge at the top, negative charge at the bottom. Now, the difference in charge causes an electric discharge, which is the lightning. Now, it can happen in three ways. It can happen within the cloud itself, what we call intra-cloud lightning. It can happen between two or more separate clouds, which is called cloud-to-cloud lightning, or it can be from the cloud to the ground, which is the cloud-to-ground lightning. And this is what we're talking about, and this is what is dangerous for outdoor activities.
Okay. You hear about not being on that tree, you hear about all kinds of stuff. Can you be safe in something like that?
Well, if you're outdoor, once you hear the lightning, there is a term that once you hear the thunder roar, go indoor. But once you're outdoor, you have to be mindful of your surroundings. You have to take a look at what is happening. And I was talking with Madam President and Vice President for FIFA, ISA, and we were saying that the referee did an excellent job. The only thing that was missing is that you might need an independent person who is not caught up in the match just to watch the surroundings. Give the Met Office a call and see what is happening around.
Because that was one of the things I thought, Madam VP, was whether or not there was a continuous strike or there was just a single strike. And are you able to confirm that it was just a single strike?
A single strike, and immediate response came after that immediate strike. From the report we have received, there was strike in the distance. So there was no thought that it would have been in the immediate vicinity, because it was just seemed far away. But it was just an unfortunate, but you know, you learn.
Yes.
Yep.
Because in retrospect, Rowan, does it mean that if you see it even in the distance, the likelihood of it happening is greater?
So the electrical discharge can happen as far as 10 miles away. So if you're 10 miles away, and that is why I heard the referee talk about the 30-30 rule. So if you're 10 miles away, right, and you see the lightning, right, you can be struck by 10 miles away. So therefore, the distance once you can see it, be prepared because distance doesn't really matter when it comes on to electrical discharge.
Hold on one second. Because when you see it in the distance, sometimes you don't even hear the thunder. You just see it way up. Are you suggesting that that could be dangerous also?
So when I said earlier, there are 3 types, right? So if you could have a cloud-to-cloud lightning, right? And cloud-to-cloud lightning doesn't come towards the ground. It is the ones that are low from the cloud to the ground that is dangerous. So if you see the lightning sometimes, it might not be as dangerous as we think. But when we start to see those dark, ominous clouds moving towards you, be prepared. You might be struck by lightning.
So there's no protection because some people say if you have on rubber shoes, if you see lightning, hold on pants, ground yourself, all kinds of different things. When you see the lightning, you're saying the best thing is to get out of the way because there's nothing that can save you.
If you can't, but if you're outdoors, there are some things you can do. You can try to get as low as possible, but do not have as much contact with the ground as possible because it can travel along the ground as well because it's electrical discharge. And if the top of the cloud is negative, the ground is positive, you will have that discharge. So keep as low as possible that you're not the tallest positive charge individual there.
You're very tall. Yeah. Mrs. Montague, having said all of that, is the protocol changed now with schoolboy football because of what happened?
No, it wouldn't because it has always been. The regulation is in place and we don't need to take anything for granted. So going forward, because the very next day, some matches were called off.
Yeah, I was involved in one of that.
Right, so you can see the immediacy of the response of officials and all personnel around teams.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good way forward, informed way, because now we're getting more and more information as to how to operate in matches. And I think we're on high alert. Yeah. And we see warnings again for thunderstorm this weekend. So I guess the officials and team managers will take precaution.
Yeah. Rowan, you mentioned the 30-30 rule and some of the courses that I've gone on, that's been a part of it. Carl Tyrrell, by the way, is probably our most experienced referee. He's a level 2 FIFA instructor.
Clarify the 30-30 rule for the people.
The 30-30 rule, it suggests that if lightning happens and it happens 30 seconds later, then come off the field. If it doesn't happen 30 seconds later, it's like 5 minutes apart, it seems like you're okay. But again, coming back to what you said, if it is immediate, if it is close, then that rule...
so it is just a guideline. Right. So it's not carved in stone, right? So you could count to 31, 32, 35 and still get a lightning strike. But once the lightning strikes before you reach 30, get out.
Yeah, which is what Mr. Tyrrell was saying, and this is exactly what he did. The only thing that I find not strange but different now that I didn't know was that from the distance it could still harm you. I didn't know that. Because again we were playing at Calabar on Tuesday and it was no rain, sun, and then you saw the lightning in the distance. Mr. Corshaw, who was an executive officer and the principal at Calabar, came out to the referees and said, well, he wasn't going to take any chances. And while they were speaking, you saw another big one, and that ended the game. Well, stopped the game, not because we still will have to play the rest of the game.
Talk to me about what the weather is going to be like, because we're seeing more of this. I mean, there was something reported in the Star in September 8th, I believe, and 9th. A young student of Glengoff, they were picking guineas, and he died from a lightning strike. So just so the public is a little bit more aware, particularly this weekend. I hear you saying thunderstorms. What are we expecting?
Well, a trough system is going to linger across the air. And when you have trough systems and daytime heating, sometimes those clouds begin to develop. And once you start to see those dark, ominous clouds of great vertical extent, the thing is go indoors. If you have to stay outdoor, be mindful. Once you see that first flash, indoor. If you can't be indoor, try to be as low as possible.
Forgive my ignorance. Does the lightning hit you, or it hits the ground where you are close? What
both.
happens?
So it can travel along the ground. It can go through your body. Once there's a positive charge and a negative charge, there's a discharge of electric current. So it can be both.
Wow. Because one of the youngsters that went to the hospital didn't realize that he was hit. He said when he spoke to me, he said the flash. He said it almost blinded him. So he didn't feel anything. It was just a flash. And then when he went home, he started to have like chest pains and headaches and stuff. So I wondered if it hits you directly or if it's just hits the surrounding
So
area.
it can be both.
Can be both. Wow.
We
I
just have
mean,
to be
it's a
careful.
serious thing.
It is.
Because in the past, we always monitored the field,
Yeah, man.
waterlogged field,
Yeah,
to
man.
call off, to blow off a
Yeah, man.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
But now you understand that there are so many conditions that you have to be aware of in with the rains.
And you're right. It
And this
always,
time of the
and
year.
You're right. It always was because even in the Jamaica team, they played a
Right.
game and they actually
Cup.
stopped the
Right,
game, and the game started like an hour and a half later or
Right.
something like that. So that's also possible, Madam Vice President. It's not the fact that you just go and call off the game. Could the game be halted for a 5 or a 10
for
or a
5,
15
10 minutes
and-
because it's at the discretion of the referee.
Right.
And so they're monitoring, they use their discretion in the game where there may be imminent danger
Right.
to players and all persons involved. So they make the call.
And the recommendation is after you hear the last lightning and thunder, wait 30 minutes. That's the
Wait for
recommendation.
30 minutes.
That's correct. After you hear the last thunder.
Right. And that could cause problems with football because we don't play under lights. And
Right.
if you wait for so long, then you might have to
Call
come back
off
another day.
games.
Thanks a lot for coming.
You're
Thanks a
welcome.
lot. And again, one of the youngsters out of hospital, the other one, and there was a couple of the Woolmer's kids who were affected also. We think everyone is all right. We certainly pray that they will recover fully. Rowan Brown, head of the weather branch at the Metro Centre of Jamaica, and Mrs. Colleen Montague, Vice President of VISA. There you go.
All right, up next, we discuss plans ahead of International Day of Peace. Stay with us.